Hold on.
Yo, is that an iPhone 8?
No.
What is it?
XR.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not.
Because you got the red back. I got the same phone, bro.
We
got the same phone.
I got the I got the Red 7 at first, and then I moved on to eventually getting this one when like my 7 just was like, yo, figure it out. Like,
I fuck with the red so hard.
you have to, and I think it goes to charity or something. I don't know.
Does it really?
I think it's Project Red. It's like the HIV thing or something.
Red and black is my favorite color scheme, as you could tell in here.
It's fire.
Wolfpack, NWO, you know what I'm saying?
In here. It looks great in here.
Robbie Fingers in the building. Robbie Gordon.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, no, it's, if it wasn't for the '90s Bulls ruining my childhood, I'd like the colorway a lot more. But it's beast. I can't deny that.
As a wrestling fan, though, the Brood didn't do it for you. The Wolfpack, come on, man.
I'm a big Brood guy for sure.
Super underrated.
Gangrel's entrance music's probably goated, right?
It has to be in the Mount Rushmore, one of my favorite ones.
Oh yeah, I mean, right? And the I don't even know what makes that noise. My first wrestling show ever was headlined by Gangrel and the late Balls Mahoney at the Elks Lodge on Queens Boulevard, circa 2002, I want to say.
Damn.
Yeah, like post ECW, we're in the balcony, pre-Bloomberg smoking laws, so like just children just secondhand cigarette smoke and just nonsense. Yeah, just everything. And just I came home and my mom was like, "Where the hell were you?" And she knew, but she's like, "Why do you smell like an ashtray?" Yeah.
Bro, I never got a chance to go to an ECW event. I was going to go in 1999, and my cousin was going to take me. And then my mom saw
what it was.
Yeah, she saw what it was, and she saw New Jack staple gun someone. She's like, I'm not letting you go watch this.
That's probably the worst clip she could have seen.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, New Jack? Like, yeah, just pure violence.
Dude, have you been watching those?
I have a great photo with New Jack when I was like 14, at another indie show. I think it was at a skating rink in Long Island, and we were front row, and he just grabbed my buddy and me, and he goes, to my friend's dad, he goes, take the damn photo. And like, he's just bleeding from the forehead. And we're just like, oh, this is awesome. But also like, oh shit, this is terrifying. And, cause he walked around with like scalpels and knives and forks and used them on people's heads.
Bro, you've been watching those Dark Side of the Ring little features on Vice.
Oh, his episode was awesome.
All of them are fantastic.
Yeah, really well produced. They did a great job over there.
And I loved the one on New Jack because you want to talk about the level of not giving a fuck. It's that guy.
Yo, so I think New Jack's one of the best workers of all time.
Really?
And that's going to drive some people up the wall, but I can't name certain instances, but not everything is as it seems. And yo, the smoke and mirrors and keeping it real and keeping kayfabe and doing all that, and yes, there have been some instances where he's crossed the line, but some of those where he crossed the line, it's like, oh, that was really well done. So, he's a worker at the end of the day. And if people still believe 20 years later, a lot of that stuff was very real, and nothing's fake in this world. But
I think the world is fake. Wrestling is real.
Things are worked sometimes, and New Jack, is a preserver of the magic, and more than he gets credit for.
We'll turn back the clock a little bit on wrestling as we wind down.
I love that we said we didn't bring up any wrestling talk.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm speaking of breaking kayfabe. I'm like, we
pulling back the fourth wall.
Yeah,
right?
pulling back the curtain. We're like, we prefaced what we were gonna talk about, and none of it was wrestling. And then we just jump into wrestling,
bro, because everything is wrestling, man. Everything is wrestling. But dude, I want to talk to you about a couple of things. You've been on the show many times before, and also.
But it's my first time in the new studio, so congratulations, because this is
thanks, man.
Tremendous. I mean, listen, betting on yourself, personal growth, this is something, man.
Thanks, dude. It means a lot, and you know what? You've helped me along the way in many ways, connecting me with certain people, putting me over to use the wrestling term.
Always.
So I appreciate that, and
come on,
it was only a matter of time before I had you.
All-time baby face, man.
Yeah, the people's mark, right? Dude, I want to talk to you about a couple of things. We're going to heavy basketball featured pod, but I really want to talk about college sports. Coming off the NCAA tournament, I got some numbers here that are very, very eye-opening, right? In 2019, the NCAA revenue was $1.18 billion.
It's a remarkable business.
In 2020, because of no March Madness, an $800 million loss. Now, we're not going to cry for them, right? So north of $500 million they made. They have the tournament this year, obviously limited capacity. My question to you, and this might be on the Mount Rushmore of evergreen topics, polarizing topics, but it always comes up whenever March Madness comes around, college football. How do you feel personally about college athletes, student athletes getting paid?
There's no other craft where you can be that good at something and not get paid. On this planet, there's not a single craft. Everyone who's that good at what they do gets paid or has the option to. So, for me, there's the weight of the scholarship and the ability to go to the institution. But sure, if you're going to say don't pay them directly because X, Y, and Z are a form of payment, that's a reasonable argument if they, as student athletes, as young people, are able to go and get paid on the basis of what they do. So I can't, as a student athlete, not that I'm one, but if I'm a top tier D1 basketball player, they're selling my jersey without my name on the back, but I don't see any of that. I can't do an autograph signing. I can't do a meet and greet. I can't do a photo op. I can't have a Cameo account. Mm-hmm. I can't have a podcast where I talk about the life of being a basketball player and monetize it.
Can't have a YouTube channel?
I can't have a YouTube channel. I can't do anything to better my family's situation monetarily because of the rules in place. That's insane. Mm-hmm. Right? So, let them be young entrepreneurs. If you don't want to pay them directly, they're going to find a way.
Yeah.
You have to be a special person to make it that far in this craft, right? There are a lot of high school athletes, right? The vast majority of them never play in college. The ones who do play in college, the vast majority don't play D1, right? So for these kids, young men, young women, who are able to get to this point and get to this level, be on a national stage, get this recognition, get followers to the tune of hundreds of thousands on Instagram or millions, accounts that normally would be monetized. Mm-hmm. Why not let them monetize? They're not going to be taken advantage of. That was always the old trope that because of who they are, that they're going to be, that might have been true in the old world. But now with the internet, now with everyone having a supercomputer in their pocket, now with everyone being able to say, this is what my brand to the world is going to be, you have to let them be themselves and build their brand.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. That's sort of what my stance has always been, even years ago. I feel like I've talked about this topic many, many times, but then, of course, information changes the narrative or the false narrative, whatever it might be. And when you learn new things, we mentioned YouTube, social media, and whatnot. I also think that that's something that needs to be accounted for, that there wasn't social media like this 10 years ago.
Right.
And also a lot of these rules and regulations about college athletics were implemented at a time when the SEC network didn't get sold for $1 billion. And the Longhorns have their own fucking channel. There's the Big 10 network. There's the Big 12 network.
ACC
the Pac
network.
Every Power 5 has their own network. My issue, because I personally don't think a college kid should get paid. Mm-hmm. I don't know how you determine that. How if us two play, we're both at Syracuse.
Yep.
You're the starting point guard. You're the man. You're a one and done.
Unrealistic. I wouldn't pass, but go ahead.
Random white dude that just hits threes, yo. You need that guy on your roster, right? But you're the starting point guard. I'm the starting quarterback. Mm-hmm. We should get paid roughly the same amount. How do we pay the center forward for the men's soccer team? How do we pay the catcher for the women's softball team? I don't know if Syracuse has water polo, but how do you pay? So there, I don't understand where.
That's where it gets difficult, right?
That's where it gets difficult. I strongly believe, and I'm super passionate about the idea of the name, image, and likeness. That law has been passed now. Starting this summer, you'll be able to profit off it. No shit. Dude, if I'm the starting if I'm Tim Tebow and everybody wants a piece of me, if you're a booster and you want to buy me a steak dinner at Prime 112,
right.
What is that doing to the NCAA? How is that affecting them in any sense of the way?
And a lot of athletes, people on full scholarships, aren't able to, their families might be struggling. So to be taken away and having to choose with, okay, this might be a good long-term investment for us versus I might have to not do this so I can make sure that my family's okay. Like, no 19-year-old should be put in that position. So, like, and you bring up a good point with the difference of, being a high-profile team at a university versus, you might be a champion, like you said, water polo team, but that's not something that's drawing the ratings that March Madness does.
Well, also the majority of the Power 5 universities, football and basketball is their big moneymaker.
Right.
Those two programs.
It's not even just for the athletic program. Like, that's what drives most of the revenue for the universities.
Yeah, without a doubt. Dude, Notre Dame football, that pays for everything there.
And I have family members who are art professors, and they'd be at these universities where all the funding would go to these other programs, and it's hard because like, imagine you're at this school with a very high tuition, and that's not necessarily funding parts of the academia, right? So there's no simple answer to this. I think if you have the other way is to go full free market and just let the boosters free for all and let the alumni networks pay to bring people to the institutions, because that happens anyway, right? So don't like seeing what happened with James Wiseman. I mean, people got robbed from seeing him play college basketball. He got robbed from half a season, and I'm sure.
And then you see him translating in the NBA. A lot of people are a little skeptical. Maybe he doesn't have the right amount of games under his belt. What did he play? Like less than he was basically what Kyrie did at Duke.
It's not an ideal system for him.
That too.
Right. He's going to be special though. I think I'm not comparing him to. I mean, like, just from a size and dexterity standpoint and ability, skill level, touch. Like, you look at him, you think of a David Robinson. You think of like elite bigs, and his footwork's fantastic. He has had, it's a rough season in general, just navigating COVID, navigating like a very short camp leading up to it. Right. So he wasn't able to train with his college team after a very early date last season. Then COVID hits. Then he gets drafted. Then he's rushed into the NBA with a very short camp. That's hard for a 19-year-old.
And a lot of expectations for being a top 3 pick as well.
And granted, like, the other two of the top 3 have had fantastic seasons, so he gets sort of lost in the mix. But I'm still very bullish on him.
Well, it's the same dilemma that we have with the Knicks, right? Like, RJ's having a fantastic season.
And got left off ESPN's list of 25 under 25.
We'll get to that in a little bit. I'm glad that you brought it up because I forgot.
Ethered it this morning. I think we could leave it.
But, dude, I really want to go back to that because there are certain situations that you've seen how social media has led to people sort of getting in trouble from being able to monetize and to deal with sponsorships, which I don't think it's fair. I really don't think that, dude, Johnny Manziel, because of Johnny Manziel's rise, 2,500 number 2 jerseys at Texas A&M sold out within 30 minutes when he won the Heisman. He didn't see any money from there. That season, they say that they made close to $30 million in profits because of Johnny Manziel.
And that's one of the most rabid fan bases in sports. Like, when any A&M team is good, they have the craziest fans.
How about this? The 12th Man Foundation. They auctioned off for $20,000 a dinner with Johnny Manziel.
Right. So now he has
and now you're taking advantage of him too. But if he was to do that on his own, give us back the Heisman, fuck that, fuck you, you're out of here. It's not fair, bro. Donald De La Haye, you ever heard of him?
I don't think so.
He was the UCF kicker who had that destroying YouTube channel with like 300,000 subscribers a couple years back. NCAA kicked him off.
Yeah.
Because he was making money off his YouTube channel. He was like one of those dudes, like, the trick shot people.
Right.
He does that with kicking. And he got kicked off the team.
It's silly. Guys are probably some of the best dunkers in the world. They're super talented people in college sports, and they aren't able to really be themselves. It's sort of like I think for the NCAA, they're sort of just trying to grasp onto a reality that doesn't exist anymore, and they're shooting themselves in the foot because we're going to see more and more alternatives pop up. We're going to see more and more overseas success stories. Overtime is launching their own alternate path where high school kids could go get money and go get paid and go get exposure because they're getting all that clout from being on a platform like Overtime. Dude. You look at the G League, the Ignite team of all the guys who should be one and dones, like probably 3 of the top 10 picks are coming out of that.
I love that you mentioned Overtime because Paige Bukers, who plays on UConn, she, as a freshman, AP All-American Player of the Year.
First ever. Mm-hmm.
She goes into UConn with 500,000 followers.
And, well...
She can't do anything with that? What about this kid Mikey on Overtime? You heard of him? He's like a sophomore, junior.
Mikey Williams. He's gonna be, if he stays the course, he's going to be a serious basketball player.
So...
But
that
they're getting paid.
But he got 3 million followers now, right? So if he goes to college, that all stops. That's not fair.
Yeah, they're gonna have to.
Well, at the time, look, he's lucky because now
he's
with
in
this
a good
thing
position
coming in, but I don't think that's fair, man. Have you watched this show on Netflix, the documentary Athlete A?
No.
Very sad.
Should have done my homework, man.
Very sad. It's about the women's Olympic gymnastic team with Larry Nasser, the dude from Michigan State, the physician who sexually abused hundreds of girls. Well, the whistleblower of this is this chick, Maggie Nichols. She was the first one to obviously blow the whistle. And then she got punished by the Olympic team by not being one of the 5 girls picked. Remember Gabby Douglas, Simone Biles, like that core that like fucking ran through everybody at the Olympics. Set world records. She was like 4th in the worlds on the team, so she should have made it. They left her off, and she wasn't even an alternate. The reason why I bring her up is that girl has over 200,000 followers. She ends up going to Oklahoma on a scholarship. So if someone wanted to get her autograph because she was a star.
Yeah.
Dude, I didn't know how big women's gymnastics was.
Massive.
Like it's like a cult-like following. It's huge.
Well, everyone watches during the Olympics, but there's
right.
still
But
a
even
huge
before
audience
that,
outside of that.
They had like 20,000 people at the Staples Center for this thing, jam-packed. Tickets were going for like thousands of dollars just to be in there to see who's being picked to go.
Right.
Not even to compete. So is it fair for that girl to go to Oklahoma and then a family goes, "Oh my God, you're an inspiration to my daughter. We want to take you out to dinner, and can we get your autograph?" She's going to get in trouble for that? I'm not saying that this happened, but I'm just trying to paint the picture.
It's ridiculous.
It's just, that's where I strongly disagree with the NCAA.
Yeah, and, listen, the more they gatekeep success, right? Because, I mean, what are they? They should be empowering young people who are talented to build a better life for themselves. So if their efforts are doing the opposite of that, what's the point of all of this, right? Like student athletes, they say student comes first, but aren't we supposed to be like, isn't the whole point of higher education to enrich the lives of young people? If we're not doing that, then what are we talking about?